So I'm Robert. I'm the estate director at Amista, and we have Vicky and Mike Farrow, the proprietors, and we have Hawes, our wine club coordinator. And feel free. I mean, the thing about our virtual tastings is we love to have them interactive, and you ask questions and provide your input. And this one's going to be just the same. So we've got a couple of other new things that we were throwing in here. Oh, is there another Dave Thomas coming in?
You got to unmute.
We're trying to get on another computer that has better audio.
Okay.
I can't hear very well.
Yeah, this is better.
Okay, we're gonna get off of this one.
Mute that quick.
It's a little rough.
Whoa.
All right.
All right, good.
So we'll have time to interact and have conversations and lots of questions and answers throughout and at the end. But the most important thing is we've got our bottles. For those of you who have not poured your glasses, why don't you do that now?
Are we supposed to pour all three or just one?
Pour all three.
Oh gosh, I need more glasses. That'll be all right.
15.
Okay. I can do a lot of stuff.
So just a little bit about the 14. We went into the cellar and pulled these out specifically for this virtual tasting. We put 20 cases away into library for us to release specifically for this and to have just a bit to offer to wine club members. So we're really excited about this. Hawes and I tasted them this morning.
This is 15.
That's the job, you know.
It's,
How to do it.
it's really exciting. Tough work. We have to do this.
You can have more. I just don't want to do it.
While everybody's pouring, oh, here comes Lori. One thing that I wanted to tell you just while we're waiting a little bit for the wines is, a little bit about the Rockpile AVA. Hi, Lori. This was an American viticulture that was created February 28th of 2002. It's one of designated wine appellations in Sonoma County, and it's one of the smallest. It's only about 15,000 acres. The elevation starts at 800 feet and goes up from there. Our vineyard site is at 1,800 feet elevation above sea level. So it's above the fog line itself. So approximately 160 acres are planted with grapes, and this AVA is only about 13 miles as the crow flies to the coast. So it gets more of that coastal influence. I say that these are, truly a cool climate cab, and there's much more expression of the fruit on these than the hotter climates. Oh, do you like your cork, Jill? So why don't we give some swirls to these, and I'm going to have Hawes lead us in what we're going to be doing and comparing with each of these. So give each of them several really good swirls to get some oxygen in there and really open these up.
So yeah, so we're gonna start off from the 16 and then we're gonna go down to the 14. So that's the way we're gonna be tasting them today. So start off with the 16 cab. Basically, so you're gonna get, they're all different components, right? Robert just said they're all from Rockpile. So Rockpile, talking about high elevation, fruit quality. But the thing that kind of makes these wines a snapshot, it's a snapshot of every vintage. It's 14, how was the weather? 15, how was the weather? And 16, that plus how Ashley's vision for the wine, what barrel fermentation, what did we use, kind of what did we how long we aged it for, new French. So these all kind of are components in the 16, 15, 14. Starting off with the 16, just give it a big sniff, smell it. You can kind of see that. I mean, if you kind of put them all, the 14 is going to be the lightest compared to the 16, and that just basically, I mean, just 2 years making that difference on there. 16s were our no 17 is our most current release, but 16 is the current release that we're trying here. But it was a kind of we got some rain, a cooler year, but it got hotter throughout the summer. So for me, I love these styles of caps, like the rich, the silky kind of valid like texture on these wines. I'm not gonna talk about too much of the tasting notes because you guys will talk about that themselves. We'll have some polls to go along to see what you guys think on them. But yeah, it's just basically 16 is a richer, heavier, more full body Cabernet. So just by tasting it on there, swishing it back, give that to the first sip. I always say is doesn't really count. So second sip, the third sip is when you really start to get the tasting notes, tasting palette on there. You can kind of see what you think. Also, leave a little bit in your glass because we'll go. Maybe you want to compare to the 16 to the 15 on there, because 15 was a lot hotter than the 16. So being up in high elevation, we don't really have ways to like water the vineyard itself. So it struggles because it's where it's at doesn't get a lot of water, so that's another thing where it struggles. So this cab is going to be these cabs are smaller berries, makes it a little more intense. 15 was like I said, it was just a little hotter, which gives it a more of intense, darker fruit notes on there. So it's just rich. It's got a difference. So the 16 was more velvety in my opinion. 15 has a little more earth. Okay, I gotta go away from the tasting notes, but it has a little because we were talking about earlier when us, Tammy, and Robert were tasting it earlier. We were just kind of like, oh my god, 15. That's my steak wine. Just it has a little more darkness, a little more peppery. Like I would want a steak with that. I was having the 16. I was like, you know what? That's a little softer. I can have it by itself. Like if I want something darker, richer. The 14 itself has a lot lighter finish. So it's not as big as the two, but that's also because the older it ages, the softer the tannins get. Has kind of a rich, more layered content. So basically, it's just a whole different kind of profile on there. You're gonna get more of a. What was our pairing, Robert? Like,
You said a pasta with sausages.
yeah. So because it's not a full like cab that rich is like cab steak. That's the 15. This is kind of a pasta with some red sauce where it has a nice light finish. Got some notes up front, dark leather. And the 16 is more of so you kind of just take 3 sips of each kind of before you kind of go back and forth, kind of get the notes of what you think. And then after that, go from 14 to 16, 14 to 15.
Well, why don't we do, Haas, why don't we do the 16 and everybody sniff and taste, and then let's do the first poll and see what everybody is tasting.
I wanted to say all my tasting notes, but I was like, wait, I gotta hold that back.
Yeah.
It's so close.
That guy over there is like the hospitality director. The one.
So this is also 22 months. Aging for 22 months and 30% new French oak. So basically 30% new French oak means for the initial part or the beginning of the part is we're using a new barrel. And I kind of think of barrels as like spice racks. So what kind of flavor do winemakers want to add to the wine? If it's a newer one, it's going to be a more intense. Obviously, it's got more of a intense barrel kind of flavor profile, basically.
Notes.
70%, yeah, kind of different notes. Got some more. It adds more of a softer kind of palate. The 70% the others, so 30% new French. The other is obviously used barrels. So basically, that's more neutral oak. It's not gonna add more. It's gonna be more of the fruit, higher acidity. So kind of it's not gonna it's a just different profile. It's not gonna add this richness that the new barrel is gonna add. And that's, I believe, that's the same thing for the 15 and the 14s. It's 22 months, 30% new French oak all across the board, right? Yes.
So let's do the poll and see what flavors each of you taste in the 16. So we'll give you a few seconds to answer.
I don't even know. What does cassis taste like?
Like a blackberry kind of.
Yeah, it's almost a bitter blackberry characteristic.
So when they say dark cassis, so that's kind of what they're thinking about. And then there's like red cassis.
Nobody's voting.
I voted.
5 out of 10. 6, 7, 8.
You only get to
More.
one.
You only get to pick one.
I think so. Yeah.
We get more
It's
than
just
one.
we're picking up-
I went with my first gut.
What's the most dominant flavor profile?
I know, right?
Okay.
All right.
What cassis
And
was?
it's mouthfeel. What do you drink, not what you smell.
You're another poll?
Oh,
Oh. Nobody said cassis or earth.
yeah. So black cherry was the big winner, huh? You guys see
Yeah.
that?
That's what I thought. Watch them say that's wrong. Well, you're never wrong, because it's in
The more black cherry notes.
wine tasting. You can't be wrong.
Black cherry.
I feel like each of these is like one.
So I have to tell you, I probably skewed the poll because I didn't make it over to Jill's house. I'm drinking something else, and I realized that I answered the poll black cherry because what I'm drinking actually tastes like black cherry. Sorry.
Are you drinking black cherry Kool-Aid?
I hope, if only. No, I'm actually drinking the Austin Hope from Paso Robles, the cab. I figured if I was gonna sub for something as good as Rockpile, I had to get as close as possible. I know it's not possible, but sorry about that.
What year is it?
The Austin Hope is 2018.
Okay. Awesome.
Oh, she's got a puppy on her lap too.
I'll bring over leftovers tomorrow. If they're
For tomorrow.
All right, now let's do the 15. So basically, give that a big taste, and then Robert's about to put the poll up there. But remember, this one's a hotter year.
Hey, wait,
So
done it yet.
so yeah, I'm not gonna tell you, but it's just a hotter year. So the drought kind of over here started in 2012. So from there, we had just less rain, so kind of contribute to the profile of the wines. So less and rain throughout the years, and 16 got a little more rain, but 15 was one of those really hot years. It just really
Right.
stressed.
Yeah.
You want to put the poll up there, Robin? My favorite song.
Robert's popular. Hey, Hans, on the 15, my bottle is full of sediment, and I've been laying it down since I got it 3 weeks ago. It's totally, completely coated with sediment around the bottle, but the wine is great.
Yeah, I called Tata, not you.
Yeah, so I mean that's normal because we do an unfiltered process. So yeah, I've seen that with is your 14 more has more sediment or the
No,
15?
just the 15. The only one that has the sediment is the
Has
15.
it? No, the four. Oh, that was almost a mess. My 14 has some too, but not as much.
Yeah, mine does as well.
ours as well, yeah.
The 14?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that should be kind of normal, George, just because our cabs, especially they have all that sediment on there, just because it's unfine, unfiltered. You might not see it on these near wines, so like the 18s or those higher acidity wines. They tend to be not as much sediment because there's just not as much skin contact.
No, I wasn't
Uh,
complaining. I was commenting. I like.
No, it does kind of taste, but none of those fruits.
all right, that's a 16 cab again.
Yeah, for some reason, the poll isn't working when I tested it earlier. So anyway.
George, we leave a little sediment in there so there's something to bite on. So you have something to chew. In case you don't have a steak, you can chew on your wine.
So how come we don't get that in the Tress then? Come on, Mike.
That's a higher class wine. We know that you're going to have something really nice with it.
You know, some wines need to be paired with food, right? So we put some
Right.
sediment in the cab so that you can chew it. But the trace you can just drink all by itself.
That's very good.
Is this the poll?
Yeah, this is the
There's
15
a
poll.
poll here, yeah.
Robert,
Okay.
I'm it up. I know how to do it now.
Cassis, blackberry, leather, sandalwood, whatever the
This
heck
is a
that
bum.
is. You're gonna have to pick it because I
I'm
can't.
gonna go with sandalwood.
that's what I was gonna say.
Or
Go with this. Which one do you want?
sandalwood,
Do we get it?
blackberry, maybe blackberry, maybe cassis.
Yeah, and this one we could talk about while you guys are choosing, but this one also got 92 points on the 2015. Yeah, the 2015 got 92 plus points on here for the Rockpile. And we don't do a lot of score. We don't score a lot of our wines, so it was just kind of big.
No, there's like a wine competition scoring thing that they do. Above 90 is good.
That's what I was wondering.
Ooh, everyone's. We need one more vote, and then break up this. Let's see what it is. All right, we're missing someone's vote.
Oh, yeah.
Who hasn't voted?
Maybe Kelly's not drinking.
Vicky, do you need a vote? I think. Did you guys vote? Yeah.
Yeah, you can close
I
it.
did.
Pretty good.
All right. Well, let's see. I'll just show you guys the results because we have 9 out. Well,
I don't even know what sandalwood is, but yeah, kind of that.
Oh, look at that.
everyone had a little bit of everything.
Really close, yeah.
Literally,
All across the board.
it's just across
both-
the board. I guess
Both of
everything.
these polls, I would have picked more than one.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then so for me, I mostly get that earth, the dark kind of notes, a little pepper in the finish. That
I was
15
gonna say pepper
Yeah.
bit on there.
here actually. Let's see. Now that I have the polls, I think might be working. Let me do the 15. I mean 16. That's what I'm at. And then here is, so now we're moving on to the 14. Give that a try while I pull up the poll. You're gonna see that the finish isn't as big as the 16, 15. With these verticals, the way you kind of move down, you're seeing a little more the softer tannins, different. It's not gonna be the fresh fruit. It's a little more cooked fruit. There we go. All right, so this is the 14.
Oh, good.
We got blackberry, boysenberry, black cherry, roasted strawberry jam. And these notes on here are what Ashley, those are her tasting notes for these wines. So this is what she tasted and what she wrote. We didn't just make it up.
Before or after she had 5 glasses.
I want to know who roasts their jam.
Right.
I'm gonna have to try that.
I do before I put it on my peanut butter.
That's really good.
You gotta toast the bread and
Yeah, so when you're aging wine,
Strawberry.
Is-
Blackberry,
you're softening the tannin,
roasted
but you're
strawberry.
also softening the fruit
It
character.
does have sort of smoky.
That's when you start to get a little more of that.
Strawberry? I want to choose 2.
yeah, but the 14,
Blackberry.
like when you first opened it, I thought it was a little off, or not off, but just like it had a different profile. I'm like, oh, I love the 16, I love the 15. The more it opened up though, 15 minutes to 30 minutes to 40, like the more it's opened up, the more it's gonna develop. So in the glass, in your palate, just swish it back and forth. It's just when you're having a big gulp, swish it back and forth. It's just like, because you're just aerating, you're adding these,
Black cherry.
it's gonna open it up. So you're gonna get different profiles from when you first tried it to 20 minutes from now, just because the 14 itself, it's just like humans, right? It just needs to stretch out and like open up, and it's gonna have a little more profile on here. So, and that's kind of what the 14 is. It's
Black cherry.
Blackberry.
finish, but it's the notes, the fruit notes are awesome.
Black cherry.
Yeah,
They have all four.
not like fresh blackberry, though.
No.
Like blackberry jam or blackberry pie.
Oh, okay, let's see.
So do we have results?
Yeah, the results are da-da-da.
Huh.
Black cherry. Who voted for roasted strawberry jam? All right. Here, boom.
I would have voted for that and the black cherry together. But you
Okay.
couldn't. I tried, but you
You had to
couldn't.
choose one. Yeah, exactly.
The problem.
So somebody asked who would roast their strawberries, but do you know, I think Robert might remember this. One of the best scones I've ever had was made with strawberries that had been roasted, and it really intensifies the flavor. So yeah, it was super good.
Nice.
That does-
All right, Mike, get busy on that.
Yeah, Mike was not invited to that particular brunch.
Yes, but it's time, Michael. Mike, get started. You can work on
If
it.
we have strawberries, start roasting.
Okay, I gotta go.
Exactly.
The owner is very,
So, you can see
those owners, yeah.
taste and smell that, they're very diverse in characteristics, vintage to vintage and also aging wise. And each would pair completely different with a different type of food. So we've said what we would pair with the 15 and what we pair with the 14. What do you think would pair well with the 16? Besides a Thursday afternoon.
Exactly. Opening day,
With the 16,
Yeah, with the
going
16.
back to 16.
Chocolate,
What was that?
chocolate.
You know what?
Yeah.
A lot of people like chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
Well, there's only one kind of chocolate.
We
I agree on that. I think it would pair wonderful with a braised beef. Again, braised with wine.
Yeah, actually.
Absolutely. Speaking of chocolate, when we were doing wine and food pairings, we paired that with dark chocolate, sea salt, dried cranberries and blueberries with lavender sprinkled over the top of it. It was delicious.
Nice.
What does
Yeah.
that do?
I think this would be good with wood-fired pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Adds a little bit of char to it.
Yeah, like a little smoked.
Right?
What's your guys' favorite? Which one do you guys like the most? Oh, that should have been a poll, Robert. We should have done 14, 15, 16.
Well, my favorite is the one that's
In your hand.
in my glass.
I know. That's kind of like asking what your
I know. I'm glad I'm doing this virtual tasting because I love cab and seeing the difference of them, the 14, the 15, the 16. Like, it's crazy how it's the same vineyard,
Like the 16.
but they taste completely different.
so much.
So we used to do a Rockpile Cab
This
other vineyard site up until 2010, and then the vineyard was sold, and they didn't carry on the contracts with the wineries that were purchasing fruit. So then we had to find another vineyard site to make wine, knowing that we had secured a contract with this one, the Terrazza Vineyard, for the 2014 vintage. So I think we have a newcomer.
What was that?
So this was a real treat to be able to have 3 years to taste with you from the Terrazzo Vineyard site. Oh, Vicky's pouring some Blanc de Blanc.
Hey, wait a minute.
You asked which was
didn't
my
get that.
favorite.
Yes.
So I had to go get it.
And a bottle of Trace.
Full wine fridge, you know?
Yeah, trace for Mike.
Well, but wait a minute. He's been drinking all your Blanc de Blanc.
Mm-hmm.
We're having mussels for dinner, so it's, I can't really put my bottle of Trace open.
We'll be over in 20 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, I think we have plenty.
Yeah, we do.
Mussels, yum. Look at them.
Just kind of the texture and stuff.
So what does everybody think about the differences between the three of these? And are these some of the comparison virtual tastings that you like to see?
So one of the things that is a question is the pick decisions on each one of these, because there are some significant differences between the 14 and the 15. And I don't think that's just 1 year of age. So what that and the winemaking, style or practice that you did, what differed between the different years, pick decisions and winemaking?
Actually, that's a really good question, Dave, because they were picked at different times.
This is by far the most tannic.
Yeah.
Really?
It's really vintage because Ashley's not only picking for sugars, but she's also picking for taste and what she feels is the appropriate flavor characteristics for that specific vintage. So I have tasting. The 16 was harvested on October 5th, which was a really long hang time. Those flavors developed more on the vine. The 2015 was picked on September 22nd, and 14 was on September 29th.
Does she go out there and taste the grapes?
Yeah, she does. She'll go out to do, she has a little plastic bag and she'll run up and down the rows, picking from each of the clusters, top, middle, and bottom, and put them into the bag and squish them up. And she'll use the refractometer to check to see what the sugar levels are. And then she tastes everything to see, is this ready? Really what I'm doing, because there are different winemaking styles. Larger oak regiments cover more of the fruit characteristics, and that's when you're starting to get more of the vanillas and the caramel and the oakiness into the wines. We're using such little new oak that we really want the fruit to pop, to shine in these.
Okay, so to me, the 15 is by far the most tannic. So what makes that?
It was the hottest year. So first off, it was the hottest. So what Robert's saying about those pick times, it had the shortest pick time. So we didn't have the luxury to like leave it on the vine longer, just because it could the vineyard during harvest, picking times are so essential for the whole harvest. So it's like winemakers really are on edge because they have one shot a year. So like it's like they got to get the fruit in, they got to process it, and it's just like, and then there have the Chardonnay being picked. And there's just so much going on. So by picking it just a little earlier, some winemakers just want to preserve the acidity, the sugar levels. Some people gamble. They like, all right, it's not. They'll look at weather charts like it's not going to be as hot next week, but it might rain, and that can really damage it. So, like Dory, like the big factor, it was really hot. It was really dry, and it was just kind of the end of the drought. 16, there was a little more water. It rained a little bit more. 14 was kind of coming off the back edge, but yeah, honestly, it's the biggest factor is how hot it was, because the oak regimen is the same roughly. We age it for the same time, but that's roughly the biggest answer.
Maybe more skin to inside ratio or something?
Absolutely. Yep, that's it.
It's a smaller berry. So when it talks the smaller
berries,
berry, yeah.
less juice, more skin contact.
Okay.
The 14 is much lower in alcohol than the other two. So I'm guessing it was lower bricks when it was picked.
So the 14
It's
was
about a full percent alcohol lower.
Yeah, it's much lighter.
Is it?
yeah, it was the lowest. It was 24.4 bricks. The 15 was 25.5,
Yeah.
and the 16 was 26.
What are they?
Good
Wow.
palate.
Yeah,
Wow.
excellent.
Good job.
But we really don't want to get the alcohol too high. It can take the flavor away. So we actually we appreciate a mid alcohol level. Actually, doesn't like it to get too alcoholic. It just detracts from the overall flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And these are 100% cap. So that's also to take into fact. A lot of people blend Merlot, Malbec to soften that vineyard. So being 100% cap, you got to actually, we have to be real confident that the fruit is the star. And this is a really good 100% single vineyard cab where other people just blend in a little bit of here, there, and there to soften it up, add to the profile that we want. So we're really kind of showing off that, like, hey, this is good wine, this is good cab, and that single vineyard status is, a lot of people just make a big fact that a cab is a single vineyard wine. So ours is, so people should know that.
Also, I wanted to welcome Ann and Bob, who joined us.
Hi, Ann. Hi, Bob. You're on mute.
And it's pretty good because they just moved into their new house a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Here.
So needless to say, we're exhausted. And
Yeah.
for some reason, I thought this thing started at 4:30. So I got my bubbly at least. And it's good the Grenache.
Thank you, Bob.
Good. Yeah, exactly.
It's all right, Bob. We'll be up to help you drink this. Don't worry about it.
I'll tell you what, I'll keep these three and we can come up and drink the three of them together, the four of us. We might even invite that other couple named Mike and Vicky. I mean, I don't know, maybe.
I understand you were real troopers being out in the freezing cold and rain.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. That was absolutely crazy that day.
I'm sorry.
But it was fun. It was all part of the adventure, as we call it.
Love it.
You actually moved in the rain?
No. They're talking
No,
about
we're talking about the day we-
Oh, tasting. Yeah, yes, it was freezing that day. You're
Yeah.
right. Oof, duh.
Yeah.
It turned out great. We were happy.
Yeah, Boston, Florida. That's what's cool about these virtual.
Excellent. Well, one thing that I would like to do, if everyone is up for it, is let's raise a glass to friendship.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Vicky's pouring more.
And it's red.
Cheers,
Guys.
Cheers.
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 These are all always so fun for us.
You didn't take your picture.
Actually, our marketing person can do a screenshot of the recording, and we'll send you a little thank you of everybody cheersing
Oh, nice.
for joining us. It's kind of a nice
She warned us to pose.
All right, do it now.
Which one was the best?
Which one was the
You
best?
didn't take a poll as to what people really like.
I said I wish we would have made a poll, but what do you hear? Let's just say it right now. What do you guys think?
Let's do a raise of hands.
I
All right.
think red
Who
wine.
liked the
Which
16?
one you like which
Who
one
liked
did
the
you?
16 the best?
You like
Yeah,
the
I like 16.
I
Can we
like
put it in context? What would you like
Yes.
best with food? What would you like best by itself?
Sure, by itself.
He's on mute.
Okay.
Who liked
How about the
15 the best?
You like the 15.
Me.
Most people like the 15.
Who liked the 14 the best?
I liked it too.
I liked all
of them. Does I all of them? Yeah. Oh,
It looks like it basically the big winners were the 16 and the 14 on there. And so I keep telling people, I don't know what, maybe it's me or my palate.
you are a little
That
weird.
I think I even told Vicky and Mike this, that I usually like even years. It might not have to do with anything, but it's just like, because 2012, 2014, 2016, 2018, I just really enjoyed them because for me, they're softer, they're a little more balanced.
Yeah, they are soft. The
The
15.
odd years, so 13, 11, and 15s were higher in acidity. They tend to be a little more full body. Those wines will age a lot longer. Not per se that's all the wines, but that's what I normally like look like. If you don't really have an idea, it's like, oh, 16, 15. If you like bigger, bolder, higher acidity wines, safe side, just go with the odd year.
No way.
I do too.
And
I'm astounded at numerologist. You're as bad as my wife.
all right, now what's everyone's sign? And I'll tell you. Yeah, exactly.
Everyone what?
What's everyone's sign?
Oh,
Zodiac. Virgo.
Oh, well, of course you are, Dorothy. So of the 20 that we put away, we've sold 5 cases. So we're down to 15. So if the 14 is your favorite, it is available.
I like all of them. Well,
We haven't released it yet to the balance of the club. It was specifically for this.
I don't know.
The other is, this is a great way for us to connect, and many of you have been on these tools.
I'm going to try and move my seat a little bit.
High and low for opportunities to connect with our club members and others that are further afield. And we love
a little bit more.
Karen is not going away. We're having so much fun with them, and
good.
Even with our wine club releases, we're doing now virtuals after the release for club members to be able to sit down with Ashley and taste the wines and hear what her thoughts are about the new vintages and the agony and the defeat and the glory that goes along with winemaking for that specific vintage. So, you get your club shipments, stay tuned because we'll organize a virtual probably 1 or 2 weeks after you receive them, so that you can open them with her.
Cool.
The other is some other virtual tastings that we have coming up are Simple Bites and Bubbles. I know there are a few of you on here that have already signed up for those. I will send out to you the pics of the Simple Bites from Trader Joe's that we've selected, so you can.
Yeah, I think it was kind of inconvenient.
And then we have a trivia night coming up as well.
Another trivia night? That was fun.
We have our trivia master here, Hawes, that will be doing that. So, and then another one that is really, I think, super important, and it's Women in Wine.
I signed up.
That is on April 15th, and we have partnered with Marmar Estates and Marmar Torres. Marmar and Vicky have been longtime friends, and they're going to talk about their venture into the wine industry. And Christina Torres, which is Marmar's daughter, she's also going to join with Marmar, and Ashley will be with Vicky, and it's the next generation of Women in Wine. So it's going to be pretty awesome. And then I'm the honorary who will be moderating these power women. So I'm excited.
All right, Robert, you aren't going to get a word in edgewise. Just be ready, okay? We got the old ladies and we got the young women, and we are going to rock.
Yeah.
I'll be
I'm really excited about that one, Vicky, because I've been getting the emails from Maramar, but you can only drink so much wine and support so many wineries. And so I haven't, but I've been wanting to try their wine. So I'm excited. It'll be fun.
Good, excellent. Well, I think you'll enjoy their wines. I love her Albarino and her Pinots are wonderful. So, yeah.
Well, I'm super excited about trying the Chardonnay Albarino blend.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, that should be really fun.
I think everybody ought to keep in mind that we are Amista and we are friends, but that doesn't mean you got to go buy their wine.
Oh my.
You know, I say 2020, Mike, or 2021 is about partnerships, and it's, you know, making friends with other businesses, and we're in this together to support each other.
Yep.
And I'm really excited that Christina and I came up with the idea of bringing the generation of women together for this virtual. It's going to be fun. So anyway, does anybody have any other questions?
You're on.
It's so
Robert, I want some trace to go with dinner.
Yeah.
No, Mike, you gotta have rosé with mussels. Oh, did you tell them that we're releasing our rosé tomorrow?
Right.
Only we have some right now.
Pre-release.
I guess you're allowed.
So
We are.
We
have to test it.
Yeah. And today was the official release, April 1st, for our 2020 vintage of Rosé de Trace. And we're having a Rosé all day release party tomorrow from 4:30 till 6 with some bites and rosé flowing. And
That's what I saw.
Cannot wait to come out and visit you.
Nice. Are they doing in person now?
we have fun.
They have an outside green.
So anyway, have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and sign up for more of our virtuals, and we'll continue to connect. And that's
Here. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.